Hey, today we're breaking down Phil Steele's SEC position group rankings and where OU stands in those, and then Rob's got some return production stats for this coming year. So all that up next on the standard.
That's my standard. That's my standard. My champion standard. Champion standard. Pull up with the answers. Yeah, the answers. Champion standard. Champion standard. Yeah.
Hey man, 4th of July weekend. You got all your digits? We need to do it. Okay, good. Yep. I don't mess with that stuff anymore, but I know you got a young one, so you have to be the one to light everything, of course. So
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. The little guy loved it. He was just excited to see, he's like, "Are we really doing this? Is this really happening? The sparks and everything and all the colors." He's like, "Oh wow, okay."
Yeah,
give him the sword with the sword fountain basically, and he holds the sword and it just shoots out a fountain. He was just like, "Oh, we got this picture." He's just like, "Oh my god."
That's funny.
Yeah, he had a blast. Some of those little things. I haven't shot some of those little things in a while. There was something called small bees, and then there's bumblebees, and then there's all these and black crackle things, and then there's these little ball. I mean, I was sitting there in this bag. I was like, give me some of the small stuff. I was genuinely I don't know what the heck this is gonna do. So I was I was taking it, and I was just like, get out of here. I was scared of what they would do.
Yeah,
it's the not knowing part.
Yeah, there's unpredictability to all of them until you light them once. A lot of times you don't know what the heck's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my son's favorite was the tactical smokes, where it has a pin, and you pull the pin, and then you throw it. It's it lights it, so you don't have to actually light anything. It you pull it just like a grenade. Those were pretty fun. We were just sitting there, just and he was like, God, I'm like, you gotta throw it. And he's holding it, and I'm like, throw it.
That's funny.
Yeah, but those were pretty cool.
Yeah, I grew up on sparklers, smoke bombs, and glowworms. That was my entertainment for years. My dad would always go pretty cheap on stuff, but
yeah,
I would find a way to light some smoke bomb near the house and let it in the house.
Oh. Yeah, we got to the bigger stuff, and I like my Brothers fireworks. The brand Brothers is a really good brand, and they've got some of my favorites like Blonde Joke and Saturday Night Special, Hit the Road Jack. Those are my three favorites. They're hard to find because people buy them up because they're so popular, but yeah, it was a good show. It was good. Everyone stayed safe. No fires, no nothing.
Yeah, those finalities and mortars always have special names too. Anywhere you get those, so those are always interesting. So,
yeah,
I just stayed home. My daughter went to her cousins in Mustang, of course, but I just stayed home. I didn't want to deal with the chaos of all that. I wanted a quiet evening. But
yeah, so driving back home, Oklahoma City was lit, man. It was lit. It was about 10:30ish or so. People from the highway, I could see down into the neighborhoods down from the highway, just people lighting in their streets, and I guess they don't police it anymore. I don't think they care. As long as I don't know.
I don't think they have. They obviously don't have the manpower to, go around busting everybody, especially when there's, I don't know how many thousands doing it. I mean, how do you pick the one you're gonna?
Right.
Anyway, but
yeah, I have a quick story. So when I was a kid, I was probably 12 years old or so, and I was super excited. I was going to my grandparents that day for 4th of July. I had this big box full of fireworks, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to start it just a little bit early. But I'm in the city, and so I take one of those rockets. I love rockets. Rockets are my favorite. I used to build them. I used to go to Hobby Lobby and build them and stuff. And grab one of the rockets, go to my backyard. I'm in the middle of Oklahoma City. It's probably like 2 in the afternoon. I light it, sky high, big bang. It floats over the fuselage, goes like sky over to into the other side of the street. We hear a knock on the door, and the one and only sheriff in the entire neighborhood was out mowing his lawn, and the fuselage landed right there in his front yard. And he was like, "I know this has to be your kid." I was like, "Oh, yeah, sorry." He was like, "Don't do it again." And I was like, "Well," my dad looked at me because he didn't know it was me. He didn't know I took it from the box, nothing. He just looked at me and was like, "You know you're not supposed to shoot that in the city."
That's funny.
But the one freaking sheriff, of course, he had to be out
Yeah.
in the lawn, had to land right in his front yard. Ugh. Anyway, I
Yeah.
didn't get in trouble though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
That's funny.
of course.
Good segue to my little story because I was mowing Thursday late afternoon. I wanted to get it out of the way before the holiday weekend, and I got out there. It didn't rain much here, so I was able to mow. And I get out there. I'm driving along the fence, and all of a sudden, bam! Just a loud noise. I'm like, "What did I run over?" Nope,
No.
nope. It was the neighbor. They had just popped a firework on the other side of the
Oh,
fence, dude. Scared the crap out of me. I'm like, "What did I? What did I killed my mower because I'm like, what did I just do?"
yeah,
I heard
yeah.
this boom, and similar to what you just said, it's one of those parachute things. Here comes the parachute floating
Yes.
into my backyard.
Ah, rockets are
And then
so fun.
here comes the guy. He's like, "Hey, my wife wants that parachute back." I'm yeah, just a second. So I had to grab that. But yeah, totally scared the crap out of me. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
3:30 in the afternoon, people just random stuff. So
ah,
that's good.
great
That's
holiday.
good. Yep,
It's
yep.
a great holiday.
Hey, before we get into football, our last podcast was the Sunday of the Thunder game, and we haven't had one since. And so, what a great celebration we had, man! That was
Oh,
that
yeah.
was that was awesome. I don't feel like we can not mention that today since we didn't do a pod last weekend. But just I felt like I don't know. They try to estimate how many people show out for those, and it's really hard, I
Mhm.
guess, to do that. But somebody said 500,000, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know. I
Try
didn't feel
try
like
again.
500,000.
Yeah. But a lot of people lined several square blocks, and it was great that the players got off the buses and were
Mhm.
interacting with the crowd, taking pictures, and
Yeah.
I saw a couple of kids. I thought they were going to pass out when some of the players walked over to them and were cheering with. I don't know if you saw that one with Hardenstein,
Uh-uh.
however you say his name.
Oh, I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about. Yeah.
he walked over to that one boy and grabbed him, and they started jumping up and down, and that kid's eyes were that big around. um, it was awesome, but
Yeah.
uh, good for the city, good for the team. Um, I'm glad we got one in our belt because they don't get any easier. I know a lot of teams are making plenty of moves to make it even harder next year than it was this year. Denver, in particular, is already making some moves. They knew how close they were
Right.
to knocking us off. So we'll see. It's hard to go back to back or three-peat. You know all about that with the Chiefs and stuff, but it's
Sure.
just hard. It's hard to become a dynasty in anything anymore.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much parity and just it's just hard to do that like it was before. Um, but I don't see us as long as Presti's in charge and he keeps stacking these draft picks on top of what we already have.
Right.
Two every 5 years at the worst. Maybe should be our expectation. I don't know. Do you have any? What's your thoughts on how
Well,
often it would make you feel good and quench your thirst for titles?
well, it's when I actually saw an interview with Kevin Durant and LeBron James and this Fox guy. I don't know who he was, but Fox guy was like, "Hey, Thunder's gonna most likely win a championship." Just before they did, and really, dynasty talk, we've got what you need to start one, and that is a young nucleus. Like we're not one of those teams that's just the band's just gonna break up. We're not a Super Bowl winning team that's just gonna break up. We're not a NBA championship that was just a one and done. You've got a core nucleus of players, and Durant and LeBron were pretty much right. They were like, the only thing that if you're Oklahoma City, you've got to worry about is the cap. I mean, that's literally the only thing it's just financially, if you can make it work or not. If you can convince some players to take some team friendly deals to stay on in a great city with great coaching and keep winning. But they're like, to them, it just seemed like the only thing that was going to prevent us from winning and more is just the cap. And and what's the luxury? Not it's above it's a luxury tax, but there's like a whole another second one.
There's first apron, second apron, all this stuff.
Second apron,
don't ask me what the numbers are, but there's those different tiers, I guess you call them.
Yes, it's like if they can get past that second apron or whatever the heck it's called, then we've got the whole recipe for it. You got the coach, you got the owner, you got the young nucleus. It's not one of those where your star players are gonna get divvied up. You're gonna have Chet and J-Dub and Shea all there. It's, can you keep Dort? Can you keep some of these other guys around them? So
yeah, I saw a stat that our bench collectively is only costing us $60 million.
That's not bad.
Not at all. And that's with Caruso being 18 of that 60. So the other however many guys, let's just say 10 for sake of argument, are costing us another $42 million.
And then you got all those draft picks.
Yep.
You got all those draft picks. You might lose one or two, but if you keep drafting and developing, and that goes back to just any sort of successful program in any sport is development. And if you've got all those draft picks like Presti, and if you can develop guys to replace some people that you can't hold on to, it's just it's what Patty does with softball. It's what Saban did with Alabama. It's just developing new roles, keep developing, but you always have that crop of elite players, and you've got 3 already. So
salary cap, and then key injuries. I mean, you look, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, and then Halliburton, in game 7, all of them tore their Achilles. So you have to get those breaks. We had Chet get hurt, didn't play his rookie year. So we've had those happen before, and you just have to, those affect everybody. Everybody usually has their stars. Some stars go out every year or two. So you just got to hope that you don't, and do the things necessary to try to prevent stuff like that. But it's difficult. But great Thunder victory. I'm hoping we can get a few more, in the next 10 years or so. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But we got 2 topics today we were wanting to dive into a little bit. Phil Steele has been doing his publication for, decades now. And he came out with position group rankings in the SEC and compiled kind of where OU falls in the 16 in the SEC. So we'll go through that and kind of give our thoughts on that. And then Rob, you said you had some return production numbers going into the season that we can look at here in a little bit as well.
Yeah, I took the 25 rosters, SEC rosters, and just pulled in what exactly everyone has and don't have, and then just seeing what kind of the roster construction looks like, and where some of the best production, returning production is. I don't know, just kind of starting the layer on to different stuff. And I'm taking an opportunity to kind of get our dashboard to a place where it's easier to update for during the season. So all we have to do is click a button and everything's there for us.
Nice. Everything's at our fingertips. Yeah.
Yeah.
While I'm pulling that up, please remember to like, like, download, subscribe wherever you follow us on your socials. Much appreciated. Let me see here. Is that too big?
No,
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, Phil Steele, he's got. You can see here, he's basically got. I'm assuming like tight ends are wrapped in with wide receivers, and then interior defensive line and D ends are wrapped together with his D line rankings. So, and DBs and safeties, I'm assuming, are together too. We'll talk about that here in a minute as well. But we just kind of want to start at the top, work our way down. You good with that?
Sure. Yeah, I'm good.
So QB, he's got his fourth in the SEC. To me, that's a fair ranking, considering Nussmeier, Manning, and the South Carolina quarterback. What's his name again?
Sellers.
Yep, I'm guessing that maybe who he has at third.
So it looks like he's got Texas 1, and then according to his top 25, top 25, and he's got LSU 1, Texas 2, Oklahoma 3, Lagway, Florida number 4. Lagway Flash as a true freshman.
Yeah, that doesn't
after
make
his
sense
hammy.
because he's got QB ranked fourth here, and you mentioned OU third.
Yeah.
So
and then he's got Pavia. And then Pavia, and then Taylon Green of Arkansas. And that kind of rounds that up the top 5. And after that, it's sort of kind of a drop off in his individual units. So
yeah, that's a very favorable ranking in my opinion, considering last year we might have been bottom 3.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe bottom 3, bottom 2. I don't know where.
And this is the whole room too. I mean, this isn't just the top dog. It's and
factors in
with our 4th spot. There'll probably be some people that argue that Lagway's better than Mateer, but us having Michael Hawkins as your sophomore that has got 4 starts, I think 4 or 5 starts last year, kind of helps kind of edge out a room.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean,
yeah, if we can get 4th ranked production out of the quarterback room this year, that's a big jump from last year. So I'm perfectly fine with that position.
I would argue we're going to get more than 4, though. I would argue that we're going to go a little bit higher than top 4, but we'll see.
Yeah, if we get into 2nd or 3rd, then that means one of those other guys aren't having the season that Mateer's having for sure. Running back, he's got them top rated running back room in the SEC, and
see,
that one's a little surprising to me because you do have Ott,
right,
who's one of the best, but the 3-4 guys behind him, a couple of them are still kind of unproven, but
right.
I don't know, that one seems a notch or two, maybe a little too high to me. I could see him being in the top 3, but top spot in the league. That's not. I know there was a few that graduated last year, so that always, Texas lost some, Tennessee lost some. So I don't know.
So you have Alabama. He says here Alabama, Jam Miller with only about 668 yards coming back. That's number 3. And then A&M with Le'Veon Moss rushed for 765. So like it just seems like the other backs like on other teams. I mean, George, like none of them are 1,000-yard rushers.
Gotcha.
Like they're all 700 or less. So when you kind of have that, it's kind of like, I don't know how you really, when they're all like production wise, all kind of the same, you're really kind of banking on like who has the best potential, like who you think has a greater ceiling to the year. And you've got Oklahoma that, we've said multiple times is starved for playmakers. If you're looking at an offense that the OU offense, who's going to be your best playmaker? Jay Nott's probably your number one right now,
Yeah.
as far as looking at production and skill set and everything coming back.
Just a
So,
proven commodity. Yeah, he's definitely a
yeah.
proven commodity compared to the others.
But I think that ranking that you pulled is incorrect, because it says here his number Texas is the third ranked in the country at
Huh.
that's what it says CJ Baxter opened the door for Wisner to rush for a team high 1,000 yards. So he went based on like how many yards came back. I mean, it's obvious. Wisner 1,000 yards. He has Texas at, looking at country wise, Texas 3, Oklahoma 5, Alabama 7, A&M 9, and Georgia 10, and LSU 12.
So he's got him no lower than 2, according to what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Someone else had populated this and posted it on KREF, I believe. So
Gotcha.
I'm not sure if it was someone there or not. But yeah, it sounds like maybe 1 or 2 off, depending on what you're looking at there. So, but still, running back room, first or second, that's also improved compared to last year. I'm guessing it would have ranked in the lower half. Is that fair? Last year?
Yep.
The lower 8. Brings us to the wide receiver room. We lost a ton of guys to the portal and got a few in. We had to refill that room basically. They got them ranked 7th here, which is still upper half. Not terrible considering there's still some young guys in that room, and then you got Deion Burks, coming back, and Gibson coming back from injury. Both Gibsons basically coming back from injury, so that's a pretty good rating for that room, in my opinion, considering some of the question marks you have in it still. But I'm fine with the 7th ranking. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think the 7th ranking is probably a little generous, considering that we don't have much coming back. And we could look at the return production on receivers. I mean, we have basically 3 touchdowns coming back for receivers, even including with Sategna coming on. Like, been saying it since December. The greatest goal for Ben Arbuckle to have a successful season, you got your quarterback who understands your system. It's going to be about developing playmakers. We need scorers. We went all of last year. We didn't develop a single score, not one. And in 2025, you've got a receiver group that's, we take a look at it. There's a lot of dudes, man. They're tall, fast, long, fast, short, fast. Like, they're all athletically gifted, but we have to develop a scorer. And you don't need, as far as the receiver goes, you don't have to be the tallest guy. You don't have to be the fastest guy. One of my favorite all-time receivers to wear an OU jersey is Sterling Shepard. Dude scored 15 touchdowns in 1 year.
Yeah.
He's not the tallest guy. He ain't the fastest guy. He ain't the biggest guy. But dude just had a nose for the end zone. He just scored. He's out there. He might not be able to run through you, but he'll run around you. He might not be able to he might not be around you, but he'll jump over you. Like, there was some he just instinctive scorers. Just need instinctive scorers. We've got a good receiving group. We just need to score the damn ball, man. And it's anyway. So
the last one we really had at that position that was a real threat was CD, right?
Yeah, I mean, CD was your I'm bigger, I'm faster, I'm an elite receiver. I can do wherever the hell I want. But those guys are we don't have a Ryan Williams on this roster. We don't have a Zachariah Branch on this roster. But that does not mean we can't find dudes that are going to just score the ball, just score touchdowns.
Yeah.
And I think you look at Deion Burks, the dude, the dude, he flies in the air, man. Like, I've never seen a guy hang in the air as much as he did. When we're watching him in Purdue, even in some of his highlights last year, he's got some leaps, man. He and Satagna, we saw some highlights of him. These guys are good athletes. Like,
Mhm.
it's not necessarily about, if they're bigger or stronger. It's just we need to develop that room. We got to turn them into scorers. We got to get them, make the first guy miss, get upfield, run the right routes. I mean, Dion admitted to last year he was running the wrong routes. You remember that? Where in the Houston game, I ran the wrong route. It would
Yeah.
have been a touchdown. He ran the wrong route. That can't happen next year. Score the damn ball. And wide receiver, I wish they put him at 16 just to piss them off. I wish they put him at 15 or 16 just
Yeah.
to make them
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah. You just need just what you said, and you're right. They have numbers in the room. They just need a few to end up being difference makers. You got Burt, Sigtegna, both the Gibsons. You got Kearney. You got
Kearney.
Raggins. You got who are the one? Oh, Elijah Thomas. Is that the freshman's
Elijah Thomas.
name?
Yep.
Yeah. And then there's one I'm forgetting too, but you got plenty of bodies in there. You just need what you said, 3 or 4 that can give you that threat to score.
And the quarterback's going to help. Having
Sure.
a quarterback that can throw the ball downfield, complete a forward pass will help. So that room, this whole offense is going to be different, but the wide receiver and the offensive line room, the wide receiver room having 3 touchdowns last year, or 2. I mean, Deion Burks had 2 touchdowns last year. Your Bauer Sharp was our leading receiver.
Yeah.
The guy that everyone trashed on through the whole year was our leading receiver. So
that's another thing that makes that ranking a little high, is if they've combined tight ends with it. We got no returning production in the tight end room, basically. So yeah, we're both.
I think you're right. I think he did combine the 2.
Yeah. So
wow.
So you and I are we're thinking 9th, maybe, for that room if you include the tight ends in there, right? Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
But not being, too hard on them, but man, hopefully there's a couple of position groups here that drastically overachieve their ranking, and hopefully that's one of them. So yeah. Moving down the list here, offensive line, got them at 5th ranked offensive line in the SEC. Not a terrible spot to start the year. We all know about BB's offensive lines. They get better as the season get along. So if that's his preseason rank, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that's actually, I feel like he's projecting there, and I agree. I think 5th is perfect. I don't think we're gonna start 5th at the beginning of the year. I think we will slowly become a 5th ranked, and by like Texas, we will be really hitting our stride. And by the end of the year, we're gonna be looking good. If there's a group that for next year, out of this entire team, that's going to be playing pissed off, I think it has to be offensive line. I don't think there's a group, because quarterback gone. Like, if you look from 24 to 25, there's only one group that really stayed together. Like, all the guys that went through last year are here back. I mean, yes, Burks is on in wide receiver, but most of the receivers like Hester and Brendan Thompson, they're all gone. Like, we revamped the wide receiver room. We revamped, like, O-line had to go through all that crap last year, and everybody nitpicked the shit out of them.
Yep.
And this year, look at Coach B, man. He looks laser focused as hell. Like, I just think this offensive line is going to come out with hair on fire. They're going to remind people what OU offensive football looks like, and they're going to have a quarterback that's behind them that it's going to make them look good for the first few weeks where they're getting their gel on, and then they're going to turn loose. I think the fifth spot for an SEC league out of 16 teams, I think the fifth spot is perfect. I think that is a good spot for them.
Yeah, and you're dead on. They're definitely playing with a chip on their shoulder this year, for sure, compared to some of the other groups. Funny thing on Beatonbow. Friday, I was at a friend's house, and the recruiting coordinator for OU football stopped by.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I guess it's my buddy's wife's. It's like her great niece. She's a recruiting coordinator there at OU. I asked her point blank. I said, "Which coach gets on your nerves the most?" She didn't really want to call anybody out, but guess who she named as her favorite coach?
Her favorite coach?
Huh?
Beatonbow. Has to be.
Yep.
Yeah, has to be Beatonbow.
Wasn't even close.
Yeah.
She just said he's just on top of his stuff, always getting her stuff early, giving her everything that she needs when she needs it, and so she's just a huge fan of Bill. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There you go, other coaches. There you got your competition there. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So let's move over to defense and start with the defensive line. Again, has them ranked top rank in the SEC, which means they're top rank in the country. You and I have talked about the interior line. It's what's there to complain about with the interior and defensive end? You got RMT, and then the other side is the one we think there's a question mark. But man, Rob, if I'd have told you 2 or 3 years ago we have the first rated defensive line in the SEC, you would have told me asked me what I was drinking.
I'll take whatever you're smoking.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Seems like it's good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. just the work Bates and BV have done with that line in the last few years is just something of a masterpiece in my opinion. But yeah, they're good. Get that other DN position cooking, and that's going to be a tough front for teams to deal with.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how he has his All-American team, because looking at his All-American team, he's got a 4 deep here, and he only has one Oklahoma defensive lineman, and R. Mason Thomas as his 3rd team All-American. He's got a couple Peter Woods and TJ Parker for Clemson as his 1st team, and also Tim Keenan, Alabama, and then to round it out, his 1st team All-American Colin Simmons of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he's probably leaning on the depth there because of the rotation piece there at IDL, where you've got Stone and Grayson Halton and Dominic Williams and Jaden Jackson and RMT. Like, there's a lot of dudes there. And it wasn't just, one in SEC. It's number 1 in the country. Like, all 150 teams in playing football, he rated number 1, but he's only got one guy in his 4 deep. I mean, it's kind of like he must be seeing that rotation there, and
just a lot of dudes. Yeah,
just a lot of guys. And I at the very bare minimum, like we're talking like bare minimum, next year we should be a defensive line wise, top 3 or 5 in run defense. I mean, at the very minimum, like you're starting at your floor is you're not going to run the football on us. The ceiling is we found a second edge in Marvin Jones Jr. or PJ Light comes on, or Danny Okoye says, "Hey, here I am," and you've got yourself an elite pass rushing group. But yeah, I mean, those 3 IDLs and Jaden Jackson, Dominic Williams, and Stone, what they could potentially do with those 3 guys is limitless, and it should be like, I'm super excited. Out of everything, I'm waiting to see how pissed off the offensive line is and see how our IDLs just take over games. Like
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah.
Those are the two. It's not John Batir. I know what I'm getting out of John Batir. I've watched every damn snap of him for the last several months. I want to see that offensive line pissed off, and I want to see some IDL take out some dudes out of the club. I mean, just throw people around like Jaden did last year. So
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get a taste of where those guys are at that second weekend.
yeah.
For sure. For sure. Sticking with the trend here, let's just keep ranking units at the top here. He's got linebackers in the first position as well.
He has what? Is
I
that
know.
right?
I know.
No.
Yeah.
I got wait, let me get to the page. Hold on. Is it
Yeah.
really? He
I
like
don't-
linebackers at what?
Yeah. I wish I knew the exact source that
I
put this together, because I would have went and did the research myself had I known there was a few problems with the rankings ahead of time. But I think it's top 4, but man, the top.
Yeah. He has Texas 1 with Anthony
Hill. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess K-Ref might have made a mistake there because it says Texas is 1 with Anthony Hill. Who's
maybe they chose not to recognize Texas in their rankings. Maybe that's what.
Hey, I don't. Hey,
what it
I'm
feels
good with
like,
that.
man.
I don't care. They're like, fuck Texas.
They're like, oh, there's some team, and then OU. So let's start there.
And it says Oklahoma 4th in the country, 2nd in the SEC, and it just talks. Danny Stutzman. I mean, was the best. He was the best run stopping linebacker in the SEC last year, and it wasn't even close. And of course, you've got Kip Lewis, and we'll talk some Kip Lewis. And it says that versatile Kendall Daniels started 28 games at backer for Oklahoma State. So you got Kobe McKenzie, and he ranked him at 4th in the country overall, 2nd in the SEC, only behind Anthony Hill and the Longhorns. And it's followed by Georgia at 7, or 3rd in the SEC. 4th at SEC Alabama, and then 5th in SEC LSU with Harold Perkins.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, this is some serious defense because there's a lot of good linebacking and a lot of good defensive line. I mean, you look at the front 7 for the SEC. It's loaded, man.
They've always been rich in talent in those positions in the front 7 for years.
It's like that exactly. And Oklahoma is rated up there with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only been we've only been in the SEC for 3 years. We're already built our front 7 as good as the Alabamas and the Georgias and the Texases and A&Ms. We're either there or we're right behind them.
This is just our second year in the SEC.
Second.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, second.
But it was originally this was going to be the first year, remember? 2025 was going to be the first year, and it ended up moving up a year. But let's get to the defensive back. So I'm assuming here that he's got safeties and cornerbacks combined in the DBs. And the only reason this ranking's as low as it is because of the question marks on corner, because we know the safety room in itself is a top 3 in the league, if not higher.
Right.
I think we can both agree with that. So yeah, that cornerback, the questions at cornerback just really bring this ranking down considerably. And it's probably going to be the Achilles heel of our defense for a little while until we see how that really plays out that first month or so, to see who's really getting a run at cornerback.
Yeah, it looks like he put Oklahoma 20th overall in the country. 20th overall. I mean, you look at, we lost. It just feels like we've been playing musical chairs trying to figure out like who's going to be competent at those corner spots. I kind of disagree with him a little bit because our safety room is so good.
So good, yeah, I know.
Like RSJ and Peyton Bowen are going to have to be one of the better 2 safeties in the country. You got Texas, and he has Texas ranked 6th, And he leans on the Michael Taffy guy, who is a really good player, and Kobe Black and Malik Muhammad are going to be their two starting corners, but they haven't really done much to this
I
point.
thought,
I feel like
man,
Texas is a
I thought
little high.
Taffany went in the draft, but he didn't, did he?
I don't think no, he didn't.
Okay. I'm
So
probably
he's
thinking
got
of Makuba and those other guys. Yeah.
in top 5 SEC. He's got Alabama, which makes sense because they bring all their starters
Mhm.
back. Texas A&M, then Texas, then Georgia, then Florida, and then Auburn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just named 6. 6 defensive back units in the top 11. Those are in the top 11 in the country. Alabama, Texas A&M, Texas, Georgia, Florida, and Auburn. And we play 1, 2,
all but Florida and A&M.
3, 4, or 3. Yeah, 3, 4, whatever. But
Yeah.
dang, dude, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you agree with me that we're good or great secondary play away from being like a Georgia elite defense?
Yes.
Like if
Yes,
our secondary somehow, has 2 or 3 Gentry, Dolby, Bowen, whoever, name your 3 or 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he doesn't even mention Dolby like at all in this.
Yeah.
So, and like Dolby, like he doesn't mention Dolby or Gentry. So
yeah, he's
Gentry healthy, Dolby
he's probably got
healthy.
the Dolby with the linebackers, like I did that with our other review with the Cheetahs.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah.
I'll take 9. I'll take 9. I'll take 9 for sure. Whatever.
I'll take 9 with the ability to move up to 6 or something like that would be fine with me,
Easily.
Yeah. We don't have to put much talk into the special teams. We just want a kicker, a punter, and be able to, pin people deep, whatever.
Pin people deep, hit the 40-yard field goal.
Yeah. Hopefully Tate Sandell, right? That's the kicker that we got.
Yeah.
Hopefully
he's got Texas ranked 6th there too. Good God, man.
Oh, really?
Anyway, yeah, 6th in the country, Texas.
That's funny. Yeah, he's drinking
Texas A&M, 10,
that
Florida,
burnt orange
Tennessee.
Kool-Aid. Yeah,
maybe is he a Texan guy?
Oh, I don't think so. I forget what his background is, but I don't think he's had a bad Texas slant in the past. But who knows? Everybody's been on their bandwagon the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The last spot they have here is coaching, and they have us ranked 9th, which is the back half of the conference. That's not good. You're in the lower half.
Don't have 2 seasons at 6 and 7, and you won't have that.
That's right.
I'm trying to find where his coaching rankings is in here.
That's yeah. That's a deserved ranking considering what you just said, having 2 losing seasons. There's, when you get 2 losing seasons, you can't break the top 8. So you get stuck in the bottom half. You're a bottom half beater basically at that point. So
yeah.
Everybody knows pressure's on Brent. I mean, it's no secret. So
right. I think that Brent can easily flip that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
With just beating Sark versus Texas, just because that I will get into more, but I really feel like that game, that OU Texas is always a game where like the coaching, the preparation, and all of it takes months. Like both teams have been looking at each other since January, and that Texas game, you like coaching, strategy, all of that is going to come into play because both teams are going to be really evenly matched. I mean, the talent is going to be so close, and it is every single time. But how many times did Bob beat Mac Brown in Texas? How many times did he beat him? A lot. Did Bob have the most talented team on paper every single time? No. He beat Mac.
I think he was 12-5 against Mac. Does that sound like a correct stat?
That
That
seems
that
right.
just popped in my head all of a sudden. So yeah, that's what that sounds right because I
You
know it
got to
was.
beat Texas. If you're a
Yeah,
coach at OU, you want to flip the narrative, beat Texas. Beat Texas.
yep,
You want to flip the narrative. You don't want to be ranked, ninth on some Phil Steele list, or you want to have beat Texas. You want people to stop trying to negatively recruit you and all this stuff. Beat Texas.
right. Head to head, 9-5.
9-5.
Yep.
I've got 11-7.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's what AI told me is head to head. They were 9-5.
AI. I mean, he won 60% of the time, though. I mean, Bob did not always have the most talented team, but he would outcoach Malk Brown and get the win.
Hmm.
And if he did have the most talented team, he would beat the living crap out of you.
Yeah, yeah. Early 2000s. It was a man. Yeah, we killed them 3 or 4 of those years. But
Yeah,
yeah,
60. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, winning that Texas game obviously be pivotal, but we better make sure we are potentially undefeated going into that game. Otherwise, that can have bigger implications if we're not. So, yeah, you're right. Brent can flip the narrative this year, one season. Just go out
Easily.
and have a really good
Man,
season, and all of a sudden they'll forget all about the losing records. You kind of get if you go out and say you win 9 or 10 this year, and you can start. You can allow those narratives. Losing. We can have reasons for losing those first couple of seasons, and they have a little more credence if we can go out and shut everybody up this year. So hopefully he can do that. But
yeah. That's that was a fun list, Phil Steele. Thank you for
good conversation topic
put.
for
Yeah, I
sure.
know. That's why they do it, man. They do
I
it.
know.
Hey, talk about this. All you podcasters out there got nothing to talk about.
Exactly.
Talk about
Exactly.
my magazine. You can go to philsteele.com and you can get the magazine for $19.99.
There you go.
There you go, Phil Steele.
Yeah.
Plugged it in
Good
for you,
good
bud.
plug. Yeah. Nice job. Yeah. Nope. That was good. Those Phil Steel rankings, not bad. I mean, I think you and I could have came up with our own rankings,
We
but
should.
they would have been top 2 or 3 just across the board. Maybe that's why OU guys don't do that. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's dive into our other topic today, which is return production. I know you got some stats to back up a lot of that. So let's just focus in on the defense today. Look at some run stop and pass rush and talk about that. Save the offense for another day since we have our offensive steak night still coming down the pike here in a few weeks that we need to do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Yep. Which one you geared up for first? You want to do run stop or?
Yeah, let's do run stop because
Okay.
this is, defensively, Brent puts his best run defenders on the field. Like it just seems like, hey, you're not playing OU defense unless you can play the run. Like that's why I feel like Ethan Downs was a 3-year starter. That's why
Mhm.
Danny was so damn good in the first place because he was developed to be a run stop nightmare. So I feel like I think run stop efficiency is probably a good place to start. So what we're looking at here, and I'll zoom in on this, and you. So what we're looking at is run stops only. So this run snaps only. This is carving out all the pass snaps, everything. This is just run defense snaps. And what we're looking at, and as far as like stops, which is kind of like the X factor run defensive stat, is defined as PFF. This is a PFF. Most of this data is PFF. Some of it is SIS. Sports Info Solutions, kind of combined them into one. But a stop, defined by PFF, is a tackle that constitutes a failure for the offense, meaning the play did not gain enough yardage to be deemed successful. So that could be a 3rd and 4. It was a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 4 run snap play. It went 3rd and 1. That's a stop. It's a first down and went for no yards or a couple yards as a stop. It's only high leverage tackles as stops. So again, coming up to, did it negatively impact the offense? And if you can keep the offense from, 2nd and fives, it's like OC's golden opportunity. So if you can go on first down, get a stop, it's 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6. That's good. They don't like DCs don't care if you get to 2nd and 6. So stops,
Gotcha.
run snaps only.
Yep.
So before we kind of go into what we have returning, let's look at what we had to begin with. OU was the best run defense in SEC according to PFF in their stop measure. We had 257 stops and only 74 missed tackles. That's really, really good. And we all know why. Because Danny Stutzman is a monster. The dude was a monster. So we had kind of run through it here. We ranked first in the SEC with 257 stops. We had 380 tackles. We missed 74. Our team stop efficiency, meaning the number of run snaps we had for all our players, we had, it was 5.8%. Coming down to, let's over here. Danny Stutzman led the SEC in stops of any position in SEC.
By
He had
a
49.
wide margin. Oof.
Yes. And I'll have to say, I like following. It's weird. I follow more of OU football players going to the NFL than I do new players coming from the high school ranks. Danny's doing good. Like New Orleans Saints, he had a 2.2 average depth of tackle in the SEC, which is pretty good. And that was better than both of the New Orleans starting linebackers, Demario Davis, who's a veteran guy, and I forgot the other guy's name. But Danny is looking good. Like they were saying, like some of the stuff I've read is Danny he's working to get on the field. There have been multiple reports saying that the team New Orleans Saints have been impressed with the ability for him to diagnose a playbook and get on the field and diagnose a play, which when you've got Brent Venables as your coach for 3 years, and he was really good at diagnosing plays, bing bada boom. I think he's gonna have a successful NFL career over there, and eventually Demario Davis is gonna have to retire. He's gonna be a nice plug and play for him. But I think this coming year he's gonna be kind of your Sam. I think they have him running at Sam right now in those 4-3 looks. But anyway, so that's where we're coming from. You've got Danny Stutzman. You've got I can't even. Kip is down here somewhere. But what do we have now with all the roster transitions, returning production, run stops? This is again. I'll do focus mode on this.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's great.
That's good. Okay, so this is returning production, run stops. So this is 2025 rosters, including the transfers and all that fun stuff. And we're looking at a ranking of those stops. Alabama comes in at number 1 with 215 stops and returning production. And OU, tied with LSU, is ranked 8th at 150.
Because Danny Stutzman left a 50 stop hole, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Danny Stutzman in his 20% of run stops from last year is going to have to be replaced somehow, or maybe not exactly replaced like by individual, but maybe
Right.
replaced
Committee.
by a committee of
Yep.
everybody just playing better defense.
Right.
So let's take a look at OU and what that looks like. Like, who's our best run stop defenders? Kendall Daniels and Kip Lewis tie for 15th in the SEC with 22 run stops apiece.
Huh.
Yep. Got Kobe McKenzie, Marvis Jones Jr., which I'm not gonna lie, man, I'm kind of surprised he's up there.
Pleasantly.
Pleasantly surprised
Right.
for sure. Dominic Williams, Grayson Halton, Jaden Jackson. I mean, there's your front seven right there. I mean, that's your front seven.
Yeah.
That's who you're going to be relying on
Mhm,
to stop the run from R. Mason Thomas up to Kendall Daniels. And the more I look at the stats, the more, I watch the film. Kendall Daniels, man, is wherever they decide to put him in this defense, wherever they evaluate where he's going to be the best on the field, where it's linebacker or cheetah, is going to have a massive impact on how OU finishes the season defensively. Because this guy, the more I learn about him, the more I'm like, holy crap, this dude can play ball.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going to put him. I don't know where they're going to end, where he's going to end up.
Yeah. He's a nice Swiss Army knife to have on that defense because he is, man. He's just very versatile, very rangy too.
And Kip Lewis, I want to highlight him real quick. Kip Lewis, every year since he started his freshman year, got game of his freshman year, his depth of tackle. So this is tackle depth. This is like where he's making the tackle has
Mhm.
gotten better and better and better each year. He started like at 3.1 yards, and then it was 2.8, and last year was 2.5. You can see statistically that Kip Lewis, statistically and on tape too, but statistically, his tackle depth is getting better and better and better, just like Danny Stutzman. Danny Stutzman had the exact same stat line where when he first started football, his tackle depth was like 3+ yards. He ended last year as one of the best run stoppers that we just told you at 2.2 yards of tackle depth. Kip Lewis is at 2.5 last year. I think Kip Lewis does it again and gets better at his tackle depth. I think you're going to see the play recognition. You're going to see the efficiency. I don't think Kip Lewis can necessarily just by position, but can still be a very damn good linebacker and run defense. Kip Lewis is going to play himself into a draft pick just like Danny did last year. So that's one little stat I'm going to be tracking next year is tackle depth for Kip Lewis.
Yeah. That linebacker competition at both the spots there is about as good as it's been as far as quality goes in a long time between those four: Daniels, Lewis, McKenzie, and Sammy O. Those guys are pushing each other every day. So
Yeah.
I don't think either of the starters are going to feel completely comfortable, with their starting job necessarily. I feel like they got to earn it like every week, and I think that's going to be the case.
Yeah. Is there any other team you want to take a look at?
Let's look at either Bama or Texas. Take your pick.
Let's look at Texas.
Just a little more familiarity there, No shock there.
Anthony Hill Jr., number
Yeah,
1,
yeah.
24.
He's good, dude. And that Hill and Simmons, those guys, I'll be glad when they graduate and they got another year. But man, those guys are nice to anchor your defense around. Those two guys.
And you got Anthony Hill at ranked 13th in the SEC with 24. I don't know how to pronounce this guy. Ranked
Sure.
15th of 2022 with 22. But look at their tackle depth, man. Nearly all, I mean, that's
Huh.
high. 3.8,
Yeah.
3.5. That it's that's what I'm saying. Like you got to kind of look at both. You got to look at stops and tackle depth because it matters. If the tackle depth is 3+ yards
Right.
on average, then you're
Right.
almost getting to a 2nd and 6. And if you're the offense, you're really trying to push to that 2nd 5 to open up the whole playbook.
Mm-hmm.
And you got this Brad Spence transfer from
Transfer in. Yep.
Arkansas coming in, and his was 2.1. So
Right.
it's like it's
They
obvious
tried
that there's.
they tried to address it. Absolutely. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. No, those three. Yeah, three of those top four there. Those 3.5 to 4.0. That's just not what I expected to see from that group. But
Yep. So Texas, let's look at the top dogs. Let's look at Alabama.
mm-hmm.
So Alabama number 1 in SEC return production of run stops at 215, and the top players and the top player coming back. Now, this is not SEC stats. This is taking everything that they've done.
Right.
You've got this Hill Green kid from Colorado that had 44 stops that ranks him number 1 in the SEC and stops. Returning production.
Right. Yeah, that'll definitely bolster your defense right there, won't it?
Yeah. Justin Jefferson, Deontay Lewis, LT Overton, Tim Keenan, and a bunch of other people. And I don't really know much of them, but 3, 2, 1, 1.9. I mean, apparently this guy, Nikai Hill-Green, could be pretty good. Tackle depth 1.9. That's
that's
crazy. Sick. That's pretty.
Look at his efficiency. Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
Well, could be something for them.
Yeah, that's who our offensive line needs to focus on. That Alabama game. That guy's looks like a man child.
I was looking random. Who's on our schedule? LSU's on our schedule.
Yeah, Ole Miss is on our schedule too, but you can
Weeks.
Weeks
was really good last year. I think I had him. Was he looking back last year? He was 3rd in the SEC last year with 36 stops. And this year he's back. So if you're looking at like the number 1 SEC returning player that's not a transfer, it's him.
Okay.
With 36 stops. And it looks like LSU has gotten a bunch of transfers in their front 7. Patrick Payton, Jack Byrne, Jamari Butler.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other questions on?
Yeah, let's look at Ole Miss. They're up there kind of high.
Yeah.
Missouri's up there too, but we don't look at them or acknowledge
Transfer
them.
City, man.
Look at that.
Transfer City.
That's what Kiffin, he's transfer you, man. He knows how to go out and replenish through the portal.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy's pretty good. This Sutarine Parkins.
Look at the top 4 are transfers.
Yep. Grambling, Marshall, Missouri State, FAU.
Wow. Huh. Yeah, he's banking on guys coming from non-Power 5 to make a difference.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like they must have. I mean, looking at what they did not have. I mean, if you look down here, I mean, they lost their front 7 run defense, which means, you should feast by then. Like you should have your run game going to the fact on an O line to move these guys. I mean, because we play them in October.
Yep.
All right, let's go to. You ready to go to pass rush?
Yeah, let's go to pass rush.
All right. Last tab, pass rush. So this is looking at pass rush snaps only. Okay, this is excluding play action. It's excluding RPOs. This is pure dropbacks. So whether it's first, second, third down, fourth down, it is dropbacks. And we're looking at sacks, hits, hurries, and what I added to the win rate is batted pass. PFF does not include a padded pass as a win for
Mm-hmm.
pass rush. I do. So I kind of added that in. So looking at last year, again, looking at 2024 pass rush efficiency, Ole Miss had 299 wins on the year. OU was down here at 226. Like, I don't know, like
Yeah, we knew
10,
it was RMT or nothing, right?
yeah. Some of the best sack artists. Let's see if I can filter. Looking at SEC's best pass rushers, Princely Umailin, who's gone to the NFL, got 11 sacks. There's the Perkins guy of Ole Miss with 11 sacks. Let's see who else is in here. R. Mason Thomas, of course.
Are you sure
Colin
Prince
Simmons.
Hugh went to the draft? I thought he was returning. I thought I saw him
I
on.
don't.
I thought I saw him on Ole Miss returning a second ago, but I could be wrong.
Let's double check that. I have him not going. I have him gone.
Okay. I could have swore I saw him on the other stat we were looking at for run stops a second ago.
No, I'm pretty sure he got drafted third round to the Panthers.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where we're starting from. Okay, so we've got R. Mason Thomas with 9 sacks, Colin Simmons 9,
James
and
Pierce
then
is down there too, right below R. Mason.
Yep. So again, this is pure patch. So this might not tie back to like their, the like overall sets is using PFF's efficiency measures. So, but R. Mason Thomas 9 sacks, 15% true win rate, meaning how many pass rush snaps do they have, and how many wins? 36. Let's look at total wins. Where does he rank? He actually doesn't. He's down here. Anyway, so let's look at returning production. So this is looking at all the transfers, pass rush snaps only, or pass snaps only, dropbacks, not RPOs, no play action, pure dropbacks. Who is bringing back the best pass rush wins? And I've got total wins. I got Texas as number 1. I've got Oklahoma as number 5. Rounding out, Alabama 2, A&M 3, Auburn 4.
I think the Danny Stutzman void kind of filters in here too, doesn't it? A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma win rate of all the returning starters, of all the transfers, is about 12%, which kind of sits like really
tied for third.
Yeah. Tied for third with a bunch of other teams. Just depending on how many, actual opportunities you have. But I see it as opportunities. I mean, you've got 1,300 snaps across all your players. Like, you should have, production. So let's look at what we got coming back. We all know R. Mason Thomas and his 9 sacks. Actually, hold on, let me go back here because I didn't do this. So looking at sacks, OU actually brings the second most sacks back to SEC, only following Texas at number 1. So let's look how that kind of divvies up. You've got R. Mason Thomas with 9, Kendall Daniels with 5.
Yeah.
as your number 2.
Okay. He's yeah. Downs didn't have a ton of sacks, right? He was more
No, I
just
think
kind
he
of
had
the run
3 or
stopping type.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
had like
So
3 or 4.
Daniels more than fills that role along with MJJ. So
But look at all these different players though. You've got Dolby that barely
mhm.
played the season. You got Dominic Williams. You got PJ. You got Jaden Jackson with 2. RSJ from your safety spot, which he had some of the best sacks last year, timing blitzes from like 7, 8 yards from depth, which is really hard to do. Kobe McKenzie, Marvin Jones Jr., Grayson Halton with 4 in your top 3, Kendall Daniels at 2 with 5, and RMT with 9. That's what I'm saying. I look at this and I'm like, okay, you've got a bunch of dudes that you could utilize all over different parts of the field, but you don't have another you don't have another dude.
Right.
Like it doesn't feel like you've got another dude. You got RMT that got healthy, played his first year of good football, who's going to probably go into this next year and go to a different level, but you need another dude. Like there
Yeah.
needs to be another guy.
According to your stat here, it needs to be Marcus Strong. He needs about 50 snaps a game, dude. He's got a 100% win rate.
On 2 snaps. Now
I
look at
know,
how
I
many
know,
snaps. He's
I
got
know. I
2
was just
snaps.
teasing. Yeah, he never loses. That's the guy you want on the field, right?
Yeah. So let's look at how Texas's 41 sacks are. See how condensed it is? You got Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, Anthony Hill, 6 plus snaps on the top 3. Colin Simmons with 9, Trey Moore with 8, Anthony Hill with 6. You
Yeah.
know where the pass rush is coming from.
Yep.
You
Yep.
can't stop it. It's just going to hit you in the face. So,
Yeah.
I yeah, got to transfer Brad Spence from
They're
Arkansas with
yeah.
5, Ethan
Golden
Burke.
Bozik's down in there. You know, we had that recruiting battle with them
Yep.
over him. So yeah, they
Yep.
built
Yep.
their defense is built around Simmons and Anthony Hill. It's not a big secret.
Yeah. So again, true dropback sacks. Colin Simmons with 9. That leads for Texas on 242 pass rush snaps with a 20% win rate. That's a lot. Like you're talking 2 batted passes, 15 hits, 22 hurries, 9 sacks, and he was just a freshman.
Yeah, he's a problem, dude.
That's he's gonna be a problem,
Yep.
big time. Um, let's look at Alabama, just because we kind of looked at them, and they're at a worse spot than we are. As far, I mean, I want to say worse spot, but like Justin Jefferson, LT Overton, they don't really have another dude. Like they're searching for it. Now,
Mhm.
there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot here. Uh, as far as like win rate goes, I mean, it looks like they kind of divvied up their, as far as their pass rushes snaps go, but um, I feel like one of these guys is gonna crack. One of these guys is gonna make a jump. I don't know which one, but one of them is gonna make a jump.
Yeah, there's yeah, that Texas group, you know, scares me a lot. Um, but hopefully our O line can get control of them.
So one more thing before we wrap this up.
You said Texas was first.
Texas was first with the number of
Yep.
sacks. The
Yep.
total wins is Texas at
Yeah.
190.
Yeah.
Here, let me go into focus mode here. So returning production, total wins, return production, and pure pass rush snaps. Texas is number 1 with 190.
Yeah.
Then you have Alabama.
Three of the top 5 are on our schedule. So
Yep, 3 of the top. Texas at number 1, Alabama number 2, A&M at 3, Auburn 4, Oklahoma at 5.
yeah.
But I mean, it's that Colin Simmons kid, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this in here, and I had this last year through the season. This is as a team, the pass rush win rate, in 2024, we were kind of sitting there as a team at like just under 12%, like 12-ish percent. This hill here at 2020, man, I looked it up and I had thought I had the tap say, but this 2020 is Isaiah Thomas,
Mhm.
it's Ronnie Perkins, and it's Nick Bonito in the NFL.
Yep. Yep.
So everyone wants to talk about number one defense line in the country and we're the best and whatever, or we're gonna be elite. Like we're not even outdoing ourselves
Right.
from 2020. So this has to go up. And if this has to go up and RMT already got you 9 sacks, realistically he could probably get one or two more, maybe a little bit. You need to have other people around RMT to get this number higher.
Yep.
Because I think Ronnie Perkins, Isaiah Thomas, and Nick Bodito all had over six sacks.
Right.
I'm gonna look
Yeah,
that up.
that was a pretty good pass rush group you mentioned in there in 2020.
Well, I mean, they all got to the league, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Bodito is out there, like with the Broncos, like having himself an awesome year.
Two of them were pass rush specialists.
Look, Isaiah
Yeah.
Thomas 8.5, Nick
Mhm.
Bonito 8, Ronnie Perkins 6.5. That is what we want. If you want to be an elite defense, you have an elite run defense with
Yep.
IDLs, which you've got. The only thing missing is another pass rusher and
Bookends.
RMT.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Gotta
Those
outdo
are good.
yourself if you want to be elite, man. Like
That's
we haven't had an elite defense, and I'm
yeah.
looking at these measures, and I'm like, you're not gonna get there by not being the best you've had been when you weren't not elite.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Even if they were just a notch below that 2020 group, that's probably good enough. So, um, yeah, those are good stats. Just looking at run stop and pass rush, it's encouraging. I think if you showed pass defense, that's a whole nother story. So let's not ever show that one because I'm guessing that's probably
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that
kind of
was the
skipped
scary
over the
one.
DBs a little
Yeah,
bit.
we'll not talk about that one. Um, this silver lining stuff here, we won't mention that, but I know we'll get into the offensive stats and return production here in the next couple of weeks or so. So, what else you got? That
No, I'm good.
good? Yeah,
Let's stick to defense, man. We'll be here
no,
all night.
yeah, I know. That's good stuff. I appreciate you putting all that together. I know that takes some work, so I know the listeners and viewers eat that stuff up too. Those stats. So, we want to wrap things up here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Uh, yeah, so we're as of yesterday, we're about literally 8 weeks from the start of football season. That's how close we're getting, folks. 8 Saturdays away from yesterday.
Man.
July's here. Practice starts in August. Game September. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts, and I'm excited for
Game September
TFB
or August 31st. When's our first game?
August 30th.
Yeah.
August 30th at like 6
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah. Okay.
Illinois
Wow.
State Redbirds or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for the TFB notes,
Mm-hmm.
the juicy notes. I think there's gonna be some juicy notes, man. Like there's some stuff that I don't even think the coaches know what they're gonna do just yet. I think there's gonna be some things where the players are gonna have to sort some shit out. Like, where's Kendall Daniels gonna be? Where's that shit
Yeah.
gonna be?
Yeah.
Where's
There's-
Kendall Dobie? Like what about the offensive line? Is Wee Woo gonna hold his spot? Is
Right.
Jake Taylor gonna hold his spot? Who's the left tackle? I mean, there's like a lot of
Yeah.
good camp battles.
Yeah. There's a lot of confidence in the program saying, I had that conversation a couple of days ago with the recruiting coordinator, and she said just to feel and the vibe around the program right now and the team's just pretty high. So I think they expect a lot from this year, and hoping they can deliver. So yeah, let's wrap things up. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope you all had a safe fourth, and we will catch you next time. Thanks a lot, everybody. Boomer.
That's my standard.